We are back, guys, after that perfect game of KT Rolster over the Afreeca Freecs. It's something we could not have expected, but it did end up occurring here. It was not photoshopped, as the Korean casters did say, apparently.
I mean, we're both having fun on that one. KT
Yeah.
just perfect gamed. And Afreeca Freecs, who were top 5 candidates. Insane performance from them. Big shout out to Score, who on his return to the team wins MVP. But if you remember, Valdez, we've heard that story once before. And KT lost that series when Score made his return after UmTi was taking over the starting lineup. So, KT Rolster, how do you follow up a performance like that? Because surely there has to be some disappointment to follow this excitement, but even if it's relative disappointment, KT might still win. It's hard to back up a Game 1 performance like that.
Yeah, and it has to be asked of Afreeca as well. You know, how do you follow up a performance like that? Can you reset and somehow put up a fighting chance and bring this to a Game 3?
And I know it was banned in game number 1, but if I'm KT's coach, I ban all Ultra Comfort champions, because you know that it would be suspiciously hot in the Afreeca talent room after game number 1. You want to keep them on their toes and away from Comfort. Ucal, the Talia 1 trick. Jace, a very easy blind pick. Keep taking away Comfort. Now, they don't have to ban Ezreal if they want to first pick it, but they're not going to be willing to go in that direction. How much will Afreeca protect Dread's pick? Because the difference between the jungler levels after the early game pathing was very significant. Score really took over the game at a point. Kingen on your screen, by far the least well-known. The members on KT had quite the day out on the AD cannon. Imagine that will be a second-round ban if he tries to take it topside. Something's got to give when you have bans like this. Karma's open and will be definitely considered as a first pick. You're kind of gesturing to the fact that it was open in our first series.
Yeah, and still nobody wanted to pick it in the last game, but this time around feels like KT say, well, that'll be good as a first pick, and Afreeca say, well, we don't need the Ezreal. We'll just go Zyra Khan down on the bottom.
So, KT want to show nothing here, but it's a little bit hard because if you don't match bot lane, which would be revealing where the Karma is going, then you feel bad. So it's actually hard to show nothing here. The perfect case would be something that's a true threat to be flexed. So if BD's willing to play Lucian mid lane, maybe it would be that. And like kind of the Irelia Akali school of kind of 8.1, 9.1 decisions that you would make. But it's very difficult to do. So they will show their AD carry. What are they going to show here around it? This is a champion that might actually be extinct come 9/14. But we're still living in the past when it comes to live servers. So it's probably going to be Karma top lane, and the duo lane being revealed here as Afreeca will lock in Sejuani once more.
Yeah, they're feeling the Sejuani pick this time around. It was banned by Afreeca actually the first time. And this time they're able to get their hands on it.
Nice win rate there on the Sejuani. 69% win rate so far in Summer. Nice and high. And it feels like LCK Sejuani works best because it's comboed with those laners. I've talked many times about how if you're going to play Sejuani, in the same round of the draft, I love to see one of Camille, Irelia, Fiora, those champions that Sejuani can gang. Ranged allies with Sejuani is so much harder. We had an example of that yesterday, and it didn't work out. So let's see what the attention is to here. Every time I see an Akali ban, I'll say the same thing. Yasuo potential here, as Ucal is a resident Yasuo for sure.
You can't law that out just yet, as we are going to take away the Jarvan and the Irelia as well. You talked about the two main melees that go with Sejuani. They're Camille and Irelia. So 2 solo lanes left for Afreeca and 2 big picks taken away.
Gragas Yasuo still available, and Yasuo fits Afreeca. It almost seems certain someone's picking Yasuo here, and that's kind of fun to think about. This could be Gragas Yasuo if they want it on the side of KT. I just want to see Score's Gragas, right? Because Score's Gragas.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't really need an introduction.
And it would be a denial Yasuo pick here. I wonder if KT sees it. I might be looking at smoke signals. I mean, we just had a perfect game from KT, so my brain is frazzled, but I'm very interested to see what happens here.
We got the smile, which means a Silas.
Okay, Sejuani answer. Definitely a normal pick. Oh!
Ooh, okay.
And it's BDD as well. Holy moly. That's a fun choice. BDD can really explode on some of these assassin picks. He was a Zed YouTube highlight machine before he became a pro player. What does Ucal pick into blind? Oh, really? Okay, this would be quite the choice. This could be a top laner. This could be Kiin, remember?
Yes, okay.
Wow.
We got Kled back as well.
Holy moly, this got spicy quickly.
Welcome to the LCK Summer.
How are you with spicy food, chat? Because we got a spicy draft going on here. Shout out to MLXG, who did retire recently. Our resident spicy hot pot. Feel like we might be sampling for a spicy hot pot in this game. Karma top lane against the Kled is being threatened as the matchup. 20 seconds for the final lock-in. It could also be mid lane Kled against the Qiyana. What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? I'm waiting for the last second.
And it's locked.
Okay. You're gonna need a lot of gank help on the top side early, but we've seen Rascal prosper on the Kled, and it's pretty hyped to see it here. Remember, the super grievous wounds that gets added is the future patch 9.14. No shield breaking on the Renekton on this patch either. On paper, terrible lane matchup, but with items, we know that Kled's all-in can be oh so impressive, and the fun thing about it is that Kled can answer Sivir ult speed. It's the same story with Karma, so the Speedy Boys are going to be on both sides. We're most hyped for Qiyana to hit the Rift. BDD, a legendary assassin player, jumps on a mid lane assassin that honestly gave us a bit of a sour taste yesterday. We saw Lava play it twice, he couldn't pull it off, we were disappointed. Man, what if KT 2-0 and BDD pops off on Qiyana?
The dream.
That isn't a level of excitement that KT fans have been dreaming about ever since we hit the year of 2019.
This would be the moment to do it and put a thorn in the side of Afreeca. It's game 2 after the perfect game. Can you follow that up is the one question we have to be answered. All right, here we go. This is what it comes down to. Qiyana in the mid lane for BDD.
Oh, and it's so hyped to see BDD on this champion, and sadly, hype plus BDD has not been a sentence that we've been able to say very often in 2019. I think he's been, again, as you're putting, he's had good games, but he hasn't been a raid boss. Like, you think back to Kingzone Summer, where literally everyone on his team was falling apart by the end of the season, and BD was still there, raid bossing every single game. He was outstanding in LCK Summer, even after Rift Rivals when Prey's performance went down and a lot of his other allies were down. BD was fantastic. I think he's been, it sounds harsh, but a bit more of a pushover this season. Like, he's done his thing, his team around him have started to lose, and he's like, okay, you know, I can't save this. And so it's just been noticeable. From my perspective, at least, coming completely from me. You're still waiting for the turnaround, and it does feel like this could be the moment.
No, I do agree. I mean, it has been multiple times now where BDD kind of just shows up for work and isn't able to do much, but in recent times has been ramping up, so that's definitely good to see. Now, if you look at the other side, definitely some hype there as well. Afreeca was able to pick up Zyra Khan very early on, and then also Kiin is off of the Gnar, which is more of like an engaged, tanky champion, and back onto something that can actually carry and get solo kills and really be that Kiin type of champion.
But early, going to be a bit of a struggle. So how do the junglers play out is actually really undefined. It's actually very interesting to consider. What you should do as Dread and what you should do as Score, because Dread has an obvious, oh crap, Kled might need some help on the top lane situation. One of our disappointments was that Lava never really got to a point where he could set up a part of the map where you could start assassinating people, you know? Like, he was always kind of wave clearing and then team fighting. He was never picking people like Kiana can do super fast. Score, looking for the pick.
Oh, he's going to miss here. Ucal just going to be able to walk away from that
And
one.
even gets to play the musical chairs, giving him the autos.
Oh, boy.
The insult upon injury, no! It's okay, Scott.
Even hitting BDD on his way back. Well,
that was like both sides of the backhand, you know? That was the open hand and the backhand going on there.
He began to pull out the belts, but then Score ran away.
Sad day, but there will be future times. I just want to see KT set up game states where BDD can hit a side lane with kind of spotting vision along the way and do what Assassin should do. I want to see BDD blowing up Rakan. Should be pretty straightforward. Rakan has Aftershock. He can kill him before he even gets to proc the Aftershock. So there's going to be ways to do that. I don't want to see just wave clear into just team fighting, because that's why I think Lava really looked very balanced yesterday on the Kiana. In case you guys are wondering what my overall thought is on Kiana, because like some analysts have said insanely broken, free win champion. I don't believe that to be the case. I think the champion is kind of a little bit overtuned, but if you don't know how to play against her, she's like really super strong, because her ult is not necessarily super intuitive to play against in certain terrain. So I think it's the inexperience plus power level that's big there. Let's listen to Ucal. I assume he's...
What? I almost went to Hong Kong?
I think, yeah, I don't know. I guess he missed by a lot. Okay, never mind. Okay, apparently he was giving some R-rated content there. Who knows? But
thankfully, none of the viewers in the chat will get that one.
Good. I mean, we do actually have some Korean fans that like to come and watch our stream,
yes.
so they probably
There will be some of you guys that are chuckling to yourselves and get it, but everybody else...
The Pepe laughs are real here.
Yeah.
As I don't know if we have that emote on our channel. Who knows?
I don't think we do. I wish we could control that. But.
And there's another variable, so I'm saying like Kiana's a little bit overtuned, but not super overpowered. The other thing to consider, Valdez, and we mentioned this yesterday, assassins in the LCK have often not worked because we skirmish less, and just like Kai'Sa bot lane with Lux never really got going, that can actually happen also with champions like Kiana, where if everyone just plays always in vision and around vision and no one ever gets picked, an assassin can look very balanced.
Yeah, and honestly, yesterday, Kingzone, who was going up against Tama, did have a couple of games that looked very good up against the Kiana and just assassins in general. So shout out to them for understanding that, as looks like Kingen had a pretty decent freeze for a while up on the top side, making things a little bit harder for
Ucal
Kiin.
also, looking mid lane. Been able to freeze waves and stay about 10 CS ahead or so in the mid lane, even with the only jungle gank being a gank from KT. Still, different champion before ultimate, and after ultimate is the Kiana.
We got a ward here. Looks like there was a ping to potentially go up to the top side, but not happening, as the Scryer's Blue is going to give away the position there. BDD hits level 6.
That was actually a very cool play, because you'd never assume an all-in attempt as level 5 Kiana with the minion wave that had been frozen before pushing into him, but that's how Ucal might have been all-in by BDD trying to play around the terrain you see on the right side there, the protruding wall that leads to the bot side river. Back timing from Ucal. BDD gets to push up for a little while. Few resets are fun. And the fact that the champion has wave clear makes me feel like Kiana starting as an AD assassin is kind of what Echo was in my mind before we kind of had to go through all the tank Echo times. Is I think a lot of Echo when I think of the Kiana.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool idea. I am a fan of the champion design. It'll be interesting to see where she lands, as she's still relatively new. As we're invading.
This is good invade from Afreeca, who had dictated to, remember, perfect game for KT Rolster in game number 1. Definitely go back and watch that one if you're a KT fan and joining us late. So, playing around the pressure that was always absent in game number 1. They know Kiana's backing. She doesn't have teleport, so it's a good play.
Score at 6.
He can steal away that ultimate.
I think they want to do it here. He's going to deny the back.
Watch for that remount from Kled. How they're going to play this one. The minion wave's coming back, and it seems like Score is actually going to pull away, so showing some respect here to Kiin with his flash up.
It's kind of interesting, too, because they have vision on the dragon, and they know that Dread is starting this one, so if they were confident in the 2v1, they would have gone for it, but a guess that says that they weren't very confident. And in fact, they do want to challenge here the
Whoa.
Cloud Drake.
This piggy.
Dread is so low. He was just tanking that up all by himself, and Score says, no, there are more important things to do than diving Kiin right now. Flash coming on in. We're trying to do that damage, and a big stun on the right side of the Kiana. Xayah is able to shut down that Galio, but trading it for the jungler here. Kiin coming on in now. Trying to frontline, but taking a bunch of damage. Score going to keep this leashed, and it is going to be smited and given over to KT as they still had their smite.
Score smartly holds on to the smite because you know some sort of burst around 500 health on the Drake could contest it. And walks up. Prey gets in there. Get a 1-for-1 overall between the teams. But in that case, the impersonation was less likely to work because KT were aware that it was going to be the Nico from the top side and not a Sejuani.
Yeah, just faking him there, but not quite. So nicely done by KT to also get off to a good start this time around. The thing that I was impressed by the most was Score just saying, hey, instead of going for the gank, let's just rotate down. We can get there on time. It's only Sejuani that's trying to steal it by herself.
Watch the replay here. BDD's straight on for the
All
burst.
three of them got stunned.
That's the thing. If you're fighting in the entrance to the Drake, it's that same thing about the Kiana ultimate. It impacts all of the people over there as well. We're seeing that Kingen had to use both of his things. That's actually pretty unfortunate against Kiin in a 1v1. So would have teleported back to lane and then got all in, and that's all you have as Kled. You've got an all in, and then you basically just have to take it. You are a masochist in the lane, it feels like, before you can turn around in the late game and potentially turn things on. So for now, good little moment for Kiin. He might even get a turret play. Don't often get one of these in a Karma matchup.
Yeah, it's definitely a good win for the top side. It opens up another chance for Dread to potentially get a follow-up. He hasn't had much in this series so far, so perhaps if he could go for the easy play up top, that could make for some fun times for him, as Senan is not looking to be having too much fun here, although he will be able to grand entrance back over the wall.
Scores hijack used in the play. Be on cooldown for now. Back to top side. Next all-in comes with the jungler, and maybe we'll see Karma on the endangered species list, and the perfect series for KT, we should mention, is now over.
Yeah, they got the one kill on the Galio as SnowFlower just got bursted down.
Oh, this matchup.
It's the most annoying thing in the world, actually.
And Kiin is the most experienced player, is the one who can say, no, doesn't matter what happened in game one, I'm going to play the Kled and it'll work out. So his stability never in question. Here is that gank we talked about. Remember, no ult for the Kled.
Okay, there's the trap. Trying to get that Galio on in, though, as Kiin is going to swiftly have to disappear from that lane, as both SnowFlower and Score were up in the top side and able to get the assist there. So Kingen is not going to go down in that easy potential kill we were talking about. The eye is going to be hit here, so they can't go for the combo. They're trying to keep it least. It's Dread trying to come on in, but he is not going to be close enough.
How much do Afreeca Freecs want this? They're really getting in there. They want to deny the eye. Wasn't picked up on the side of KT, so all that time wasted, only Prey getting free time on a minion wave. With the Xayah being able to do so is the difference between the teams as the goaltending extends around that Rift Herald eye.
You can see that KT just gave up on it. They're like, no, we're just not going to overcommit. Afreeca wastes a bunch of time. They get the extra gold from killing Shelly. And for a moment there, Prey feeling pretty good. See you later. To the eye. Bye-bye. Took a little swim.
That was a good turn of phrase. You're pretty good at your job, Brendan Valdez.
I've been doing this for a little bit now. Ever since 2012.
I call it like I see it. Hopefully Atlas is enjoying his sojourn in China as we rock out to KDA for a moment there on the bot lane.
Yeah. I went to Xi'an.
I've never been to Xi'an.
Do a little bit of filming.
In case you guys are wondering, there's a WCG event happening over there. A significant one because you and I met at a WCG.
Yeah.
In 2013, 6 years ago, Valdez.
Wow.
You and I cast FIFA.
That's true. I just said goal.
FIFA 13?
Yeah.
I did, in fact, profile you a little bit and said, hey,
Yeah.
Brendan Valdez, can you yell goal like the Spanish football announcers do? And you said yes, and it was a match made in heaven.
That's when it all began.
Wait,
The
maybe
magic.
for the next team fight, we should recreate our FIFA days. I'm like, BDD, 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 SnowFlower. And then what would you say?
I'd say goal. But you know, I
feel
can't.
like
I
you
can't
were
do it
better at
now.
it back then.
I can't do it now. It's got to be a real play. As we might be having it here, SnowFlower has his flash, but oh boy, he's just getting dunked up here on the top side. Has that stopwatch though? Can they save him? SnowFlower gets away for just a moment, but aiming is going to be able to shut him down, pick up the kill. Good flash by Prey as charging on in is Kiin. And that is going to be the end of that. The Karma staying up top, doesn't have her teleport just yet.
Neither did, but Kiin roamed down. He wasn't able to be involved in the play. They're going to lose turret plates for this, but Afreeca want more. Just the kill's not enough when the turret plates are on the rift. It's why Jace Karma are so big in this meta. It needs to be more. You do take a cost by leaving waves. They need this Inferno.
You can see that KT want to fight for it here. They have the TP back. The charge is down, but they're not ready to go on in there. Kiin is the bodyguard. Landing that bear trap on a rope and is going to get the knock-up now onto score and get the kill. SnowFlower, no flash, but is going to get the 20 onto aiming. Down goes one. Kingen's still healthy. He's got Prey behind him, and in goes Prey, trying to do the damage, but Kiin is a menace in the backline at the same time. And this fight has totally gone down the gutter as everybody's all over the place.
Prey can clean this up.
Prey with the Q. He's got that upgrade. Senan's all alone.
Leave it for Prey, baby.
Nice try by Senan here, but you are going to go down, and Prey finally shows up in a gigantic and very important fight.
Kiin being so far away from the remount meant that there was only going to be bonus exit kills for Prey on the bot side of the fight. Because he kited upwards with his ultimate, it looked like maybe he might be caught on the outside looking in. Let's watch the replay here. Remember that Kiin used his ult for mobility. I assume KT were aware of this. I'm not sure if it was envisioned. But as the play extends, score is not flash is always going to go down here, but there's the chance to try to make a play happen when there's the nice flank angle for SnowFlower. There's nothing guaranteed, but Prey plays this one smart. He's been caught out in many fights so far on his return to pro play, but when he kites up and Ucal has no ultimate, he thinks about this one. He realizes that Kiin has no way to be relevant, and the 2 kills on the outer end, Kingen snipes away one, and a turret goes down top side for KT.
The fight really was Prey versus Kingen, or not Kingen, Kiin as a big play in the mid lane now. Ucal getting low, and Prey, he wants even more kills here as they're going to hand that one over to the assassin. Probably a good idea, actually. Everybody on the side of KT now getting fed, and they're looking for more in the mid lane.
They keep catching Afreeca between moments in the game, and Afreeca presenting opportunities that KT in this sort of form and confidence are gleefully accepting. They control the top red side jungle. So many of KT's problems this season have been multiple losing lanes and the jungler with nowhere to gank. What's a boy to do? You just end up losing. In these games, they've been a lot more switched on in the early game. They've been catching people, and when Afreeca have made the sort of mistakes they will do time and time again with their very much young man status, KT are in position to actually accept those and make this a meaningful gold lead at 16 minutes.
Wow, lots of excitement and action happening in this one. KT on the up and up here. And finally, we see a Kiana picking up a kill in a meaningful way. We'll see how this happens.
Watch the play here. CC immediately opens that. It could have been Killer Instinct on if the ability was up. Doesn't matter. Just pushing it into the gleeful arms of Prey, who gets involved. And I love the build from Kingen. There is no lost chapter item. There is no ambiguity about what he is. He's a Sonic the Hedgehog. Let's go fast. I'm going to build 2 utility items into Death Cap. I got big shields. I ain't got nothing else. And we know the Kled will eventually have shields, have a speed to match the Karma. But by the time that happens, so much can happen good for KT.
Oh, Senan is going to be going down here all alone. Ucal just desperately trying to get that shield for something. As a ton of damage being traded back. Here comes Kled, though, into the backside. Kled here trying to do that damage, but he is all alone, and he is going to be punished for that one, as the rest of Afreeca wasn't able to join in after the flank there from Kiin.
Don't know what's happened this time, Afreeca. We had the perfect synergy, 0-3-0. Everyone one by one backing up their allies to the death chamber. This time it's Kiin going in and no one in a position to back him up. Ults down on the rest of the members, and you start charging and you're only going in one direction. BD can play a side lane. This is the sort of Kiana who may not have the items but does have the map state to find some picks, and we're going to be on the lookout for that to get more informed opinions on Kiana for future games. Let's watch this replay. KT lying in wait, looking for whatever picks they can get. Kingen's there, so you know the damage will be true. Not a lot of value. If you notice that time from the Kiana ultimate, regular abilities do plenty of damage.
Look at Kiin.
Yeah, he rushes in. Of course, you have to cast that ult with a finishing point nice and early. And Dread aiming, and Ucal say, I'll see you in the next level.
I called him Kled in all the excitement. Not sure about that. No jungle Kleds. I think that was a mix-up of Kled and Kiin at the same time.
I mean, you also said Kennen. The mix-up of Kled and Senan.
I'm just all over the place at this point.
I mean, it's understandable. You are a badge-wearing KT fan caster right now because you want to see an upset.
I'm getting real excited for this one.
You haven't had many chances this year, so we'll humor you this one time. Looking at the damage numbers, and there's smaller numbers on Afreeca, so we know where the lulls will be sent to. No lull state, though, in this game when you have a Karma going full utility. They want to keep their foot jammed on the accelerator. This is speed, basically, on the side of KT. We're never stopping. We're continuing.
All right, now we're just trying to dunk down on Ucal. Here goes Prey into the backline. He finds the right one finally. He's going to get charmed up, though, and pay for it.
We know who the KT fan is. Prey got too excited.
That he did, and take a look at the health bar there on score. He was a very low jungler.
For once, no ability to back up. If you noticed, the hero's entrance was on cooldown. This time from SnowFlower, cooldown hilariously long in the early game. For an assassin, some decent wave clears. Oh, that was a little damage.
Okay, they're going to get the stun there on a 2 as trying to turn this one around is Afreeca. They're diving the turret. Kiin is going to get the one and hop off Scarl here. They get 2 kills for the play as Afreeca say, come at me, bro.
Well, whenever outnumbered, yes, they can turret dive with reckless abandon. It's the Kled who always has that ability to reset aggro. Carl, 1 stack away. Now, that's a tilter. Can't even sell it. No control ward, no chance to buy. I would assume on the way to the Nationals to the Fiendish Codex. You understand this because aggressive plays are what is recommended, but Kingen is stuck way out of the play, and BDD far away as well. So unfortunately, too much excitement. Bit of a fail on that part of the recipe for a KT 2-0, and you do see that redive. The Kiana ult. And the relative damage is a nice chunk. The moment Kiin commits, he finally has allies behind him to make this play.
Kiin is just a monster. That fight where Prey was diving in the backline, picked up 2 kills. Kiin was doing the same, and he really knows his limits on this champion. It's not a champion that gets played every day as well, so you can tell he's very well practiced and he's not scared of anything really. Knows he'll have his team to back him up.
We've got Khan and Kiin top lane and Rascal. Those are kind of the 3 that play Kled. It's more of a sometimes food for Rascal. Khan hasn't played it this year, maybe 1 game in spring. Freak group first, and they're going to get on the turret. If you don't see the Karma, it's hard to make these same sort of pick plays. She turns a pretty strong skirmish team way over the line. Deathcap not done yet. Maybe they're waiting for Kingen to pick up enough gold, the 1100, to finish off that sweet half.
He's just going to push for now and join with the team. You'll notice that he's got one of the best score lines on his team, 3-0 and 4. As the roller coaster of the gold graph difference here, gold difference graph is up and down. Currently going down here after the big drop towards the side of Afreeca.
This does appear to be a chart trending upwards, though, not the downwards chart that sometimes comes out. So the upwards chart is what I want you to look at, but the downwards chart, when it's KT Rolster, does very often follow.
The trend is still up in the upwards direction, as you're mentioning. So See if they can actually continue to make some higher highs on that chart. But for now, feels like we've cooled off for just a moment.
Hey, speak for yourself.
Red.
I'm hot and bothered over here. You're wearing shorts,
I wasn't
Valdez.
talking about me, okay?
I can see those shorts you're wearing today.
Nobody had to know about the shorts, okay? Just calling me out on the stream. Now everybody knows that I'm not wearing pants.
You're the play-by-play. You got to try to remain cool. I get it. It's a hot day.
I was sweating yesterday, and I'm like, well, these pants.
Well, the sweating is going to be both teams right now.
All right, Senan trying to make it happen, and actually the Galio is so squishy. Goes down immediately. Kiana's ult is already out there. This is turning into game one of Afreeca just feeding themselves one by one. KT do the same thing here.
Kingen's not grouped. I feel like if you're going to go this build, you spend way more time grouped than we're seeing from Kingen. He doesn't want a 1v1. They're cleared at 2 items anyway. But they go a bit Dora the Explorer in the enemy red side jungle. KT towards the bottom. Maybe we shouldn't be surprised. We can still be disappointed. Afreeca Freecs start the Baron. What's next?
Well, they're going to have a Galio, so this could technically be 4v5. KT want to make it happen. Afreeca look ready to turn at a moment's notice, though. Everybody in the pit here as Ucal's going to ultimate the Baron. BDD going in alone as the smite is going to be good for Afreeca, and Galio gets in and gets ripped to shreds immediately. Prey trying to kite them down here. Kiin nearly going to go down and aiming, taking it into his own hands, is able to pick up another kill after that Baron.
Aiming's been frontlining recently, and look at his sick duds. Nice dreads, nice look. 8-1 and 4, 700 bounty. Quietly, just crap done to us is Aiming's scoreline here. He's been the one profiting. KT walk in, and they should be wondering where their allies are. Why does SnowFlower lead this search party? What did he want to find?
Look at Prey and Kingen. They're like, what is going on? Why are you guys going in that far? We can't, really do much, especially Kingen. I mean, Prey, he's got an opportunity, but it seemed like a little much.
Yeah, that was, unfortunately, 29 vintage KT. And we'll follow wine rolls, where if it's a 2019 bottle, you look at it, you turn up your nose and say, come on, where's the vintage at? It's kind of the KT rolls so far. In 2019, Aiming has some nice items over there, Valdez. Not like Prey doesn't, but I'm a bit scared, because if the fight keeps going, we know that Kled's going to be slow to die in the front line, and when those shields go down, the health bars soon follow, as the feathers will just completely annihilate KT.
As you've been highlighting, this does feel like one of those games where you see the composition for KT, you kind of nod your head, you get it, and then you're like, wait, why did they fight 3 times in a row without the Karma? Why is that happening? And then now it's like, can they come back from here? Will they fight with their Karma next time? I guess we have to stay tuned.
No ad breaks before then, so you guys are going to see that action before. It is feeling like potentially an ad break, though, into a game number 3. Coming your way. Game's not over just yet. The gold lead is not unmanageable, but it's a supremely mid-game build from Karma, where the Karma wasn't grouped. And while the mid-game isn't over, we're close to the end of it.
Oh, they're really bullying SnowFlower now, but that's a good Kiana ultimate. Trying to get into the backline now. It is not going to follow up with any kind of engage, but at least the FLICKR are kind of sitting here waiting for a moment to get a pick. But nobody's dying. We've only got a minute left on Baron.
I think BD missed his ult as well during that play. Can be wrong. I'm still getting used to the graphical effects of the Kiana, but believe he missed the ult.
Yeah.
It's definitely on cooldown.
It's hard to tell. It comes out fast,
I mistake the Q and the R a couple pretty regularly at the moment, so maybe a replay will get the confirmation. Maybe we'll just ignore it and pretend it never happened. That's what Afreeca want to do about game number 1. They want to win 2-1 and say, yeah, watch game 2 and 3 VOD. Don't bother with the first one.
Yeah.
They'll apply for a copyright strike on that one and try to get that one removed. Best of luck removing VODs from the internet, Afreeca Freecs. As they're on, taking the inner turret in the top lane, growing a small gold lead. It's 3,000 gold. Prey can still smack down the right team fight, but I feel like there were multiple states that suited KT before. Now I'm seeing less of those futures, Valdez, and that's a little bit trouble.
It's not necessarily where you want to be after another pretty good early game from from their side. Feels like we have kind of gone off a cliff a little bit, but we'll see if they can hold this plane straight and steady and somehow come back in this. The Baron power play ends up being, I think, maybe two turrets. I think they got bot and top. But other than that,
stabilizing
there's not much else. Yeah.
Stabilizing Baron is pretty important, right? Because again, more and more items are coming into Kled, and we're a hair's breadth away from double GA Zonias. Maybe you can kill Rakan if you get a stopwatch out, otherwise no one to assassinate for Qiyana, and the Qiyana in particular has a CS lead but nothing else. Ucal's been kind of grouping this game, so his CS numbers are just awful at the moment, actually. 176 in 28 minutes. Yeah. We call it a reverse Froggen. And here's the engage.
All right, once again, the bully onto SnowFlower. And they'll be happy to take that trade every time. Dread's ultimate not going to be too long of a cooldown. Just throw it out and get the flash. That SnowFlower will not have the next time.
Kind of needs the ultimate, right, to set him up for some sort of play. Otherwise, very likely to be out of position. What's the next spot going to be? Because actually, if you look to the top left and top right, interesting things are happening in the next minute and a half across the map. The optimal way to play this as Afreeca is for the Kiin to push out for the entire time, then they just take a free Drake bot side that he leashes and gets to half health, but he's close to GA. So he's going to use that timing as a back timing for GA, and it seems like Afreeca are going to say, look, we'll actually make this a little bit easier for you guys. We'll come to one objective, but we'll have control of it, what you're going to do. It means they don't necessarily have the map working against them, but if Kingen is bot lane, he's not grouped, and it means those shields will be late, especially if a charge comes in.
All right, trying to get that burst down with a pick. Score throws it out, but actually KT take more damage than the entire side of Afreeca.
And we back away, trying to make sense of all of this. Kiin is a hard man to catch.
He's going to be able to charge away from this one.
And with the minion wave coming, they should get in a turret pretty easy. A Dread lying in wait. If one person walks up, then look at BDD. So tempting to go in here, but he's not going to do it. Till now.
Oh, we're looking for Prey. Nice try there as the charm comes down, but KT are able to stabilize. As going on in now is the Silas. Not sure about that one, but Ucal getting extremely low and actually gets the trade there. The 1-for-1 Prey able to do that burst onto Senan, but everybody else quite healthy here, and a big feather pull back there from Aiming.
How aggressive do they want to play this one?
Oh boy, the fights are so tense now. Both the teams not sure when to go in and when to take the bait. DD hanging around the bottom side, but that's going to be the end of that one. 1-for-1 for now.
Another fight. Game stabilizes again. Still Ucal gets no chances to go and farm a lane. 178 CS at 30 minutes because Xayah moving up. It says flash in.
Okay, we're just going for it now. Both the AD carries going to flash. Not enough damage to take out Prey, as Aiming is just, he wants it.
The first time that one was really, really aggressive from Aiming, but he is definitely one of those kind of AD carries. Likes to leave this face sometimes, and if he gets the right pick, it can definitely work. We can turn on to the easier objective. We mentioned how this could have been a freebie. It took a little while. It's definitely not off spawn, but double Infernal into Elder. Here's Afreeca Freecs, and feels like this game will be decided pre-40. We look for the replay, a bit of a goal scored. How would you call that one? You got nothing over there.
That's a goal.
I like that you're holding your lungs. We'll find the time in the future to bring back the FIFA days.
Anyone.
It's actually pretty well timed by Score to get the 1-for-1. You know, once he'd committed, he was never getting out scot-free.
Yeah.
We walk up. Sejuani ult will be stolen off cooldown almost every time. Still no big Qiyana plays. Maybe we'll never get one, Valdez. We're still waiting.
Really hasn't been able to do much. There was the one fight around Dragon, as now we're really trying to dump onto Prey here. He does not have his flash. It's a big Qiyana ultimate, but you can't assassinate anything as everybody's just way too tanky. Looks like BDD is going to be able to stealth away on this one, but Scores all alone underneath that turret, getting flashed on actually by Kiin. Not wasting any time with that one. They know what 2 kills mean for 0. They'll begin to push in as SnowFlower.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
I don't really know what that
I know
was.
you're trying to stop the wave being pushed, but I don't know about that. Anyway, we'll focus on the immediate, which is Afreeca looking to try to close the game. Frey in 15 seconds. Kingen in 16 seconds. There will be some resistance if they try to finish, so maybe with the death timers at 32 minutes not being that long, they'll back away, and wow, very respectful. They're much more interested in getting a Baron for free.
Take the Baron. You'll have it for a good amount right up until that Elder spawns. And perhaps you can link the objectives and just close it out there. I mean, the Elder's going to be so fantastic with double Infernal, as you said before. So BDD seeing what he can see. Frey thinking about going on in. Maybe they could pick off a couple of members that are all alone, but BDD, he's in stealth for a while. He baited his team. Everybody's going to go down as Afreeca get 3 bonus kills, and maybe we're going to be able to make that 4.
It's going to be 5.
As, yeah, everybody's just going in and inting now. That's going to be the end of the game as Afreeca are going to force a game number 3.
And that ult from Kiin goes all the way to the enemy nexus, not to be outdone. KT Rolster decide they will go on that team trust fall. That led to the Afreeca loss in game number 1, an imperfect game 2 to follow up a perfect game 1, and we're up to a best of 1 for all the Marbles.
It'll all go down to that as Afreeca finally able to show up. Definitely led this time, I'd say, by Kiin. The guy was always in the back line, just doing a big number on that one. I'd have to either say him or Amy, who was able to pick up a lot of big kills towards the end, are going to get my MVP vote.
We will have one more game on this Friday before the Super Saturday tomorrow with Gum1 Griffin and also Genji Kingzone. It was a good performance from the Afreeca Freecs, and I'm with you. Kind of a bit of a head-scratcher game to work out who exactly was the most valuable player on the side of Afreeca. I think the degree of difficulty around top lane was something that makes me feel like it was a pretty important performance, but I think aiming probably would have been the more objective MVP, because outside of the one aggressive flash that didn't lead to a kill, he was lapping up the kills and slamming them down on KT's faces.
The both of them played great. I mean, if we could give out 2, we'd give them to both of them. And you can see that KT this time around, a lot more to think about. Game number 1 is like, well, good job, guys. You all played great. You know, you don't learn too much.
And how would you just determine the game number 2 team call? Bad job, guys. You did not play very good.
I think you can go a much deeper extent into that one, go into the mod and check everything that went wrong. I'd say forcing 2 or 3 fights without your Karma when she was hitting her mid-game spike is a big no-no.
Especially when she went early utility items and then had no friends to use the utility on. So, head scratcher from KT. We'll see if it means anything in terms of roster, given they could potentially make some substitutes. The Afreeca fans seem pretty happy.
Big Cloud Templar fan there, actually, as that is a big bar of damage. Aiming was led on the charge by Kiin, and he said, I will help you out, give you all that damage. Ucal wasn't able to do much. I think Senan had a pretty decent game too.
We call this roller coaster the big drop. They were 3,000, I think it's about 1,500 gold ahead. And then the scale, you'll notice, is not equivalent on the bot side. A big fall there, a fun ride, but maybe not one that KT want to return to.
Just, it's, if you're a KT fan, it's like, we're the best team in the world, and then it's like, what was that? What? Why are we playing this kind of League of Legends? It's kind of hard to deal with if you are a KT fan, for sure.
Definitely not a team for the faint of heart.
You have to have thick skin. You got to be ready to take the good with the bad. There's a lot of bad, and we had one good thing. We'll hope that maybe they can get something more. Game 3 will be a fun one. Join us in a moment.
막을 때 싸갈 거야? 얘네
아,
버스
탱크
버스
탱크
하자 버스 버스 야 사일러스 없거든 버스 야 카이사 노플 키아나 키아나 노플 버스 해야 돼
바로만 노플이야.
얘네 볼 거야 얘네 빼야돼 야 온다 여기
야 뚫어줘. 아 뚫어줄게.
아래쪽
아 걸어. 카르마 높이. 아 달려.
야 끝내자 야 온다
야야 살. 나이스.
가자
다행이다. 야 이거 깨고 갔으면 나 생각 큰일 났다. 아 내가 자신감이 너무 없어. 다행이다. 큰일 났어.